The Galactic Empire's influence stretched far beyond the known stars, a vast dominion ruled by power and fear. At the core of this empire were the Zenith Predators, the elite hunters whose legend had been forged in the fires of countless battles. These were not mere soldiers. They were conquerors of the galaxy's most fearsome creatures, revered and feared in equal measure. Each member of this elite squad had faced monstrosities that could rip apart starships, beasts that made planets tremble. They had hunted the unthinkable and emerged victorious every time, their victories turning into tales of glory and terror. For them, the hunt was not just a mission, it was a demonstration of their superiority over all life forms. Arrogance had become their nature. With each new conquest, their belief in their own invincibility grew stronger. They saw themselves as the apex of evolution, the ultimate predators in a universe filled with lesser beings. To them, every other life form was a potential trophy, a testament to their dominance. And so, when the Galactic Council decreed that Earth's wildlife was to be added to their collection, the Zenith Predators could barely contain their laughter. Earth, a planet of small, insignificant creatures, was hardly worth their time. To hunt there was a trivial task, a break from the real challenges they craved. As they prepared for the mission, their confidence was unshakable. They had faced monsters that could obliterate fleets. What threat could Earth's small beasts possibly pose? The Predators assembled their gear, the most advanced hunting technology in the galaxy. Their armor was impenetrable, their weapons capable of subduing even the most formidable foes. This was a mission they considered beneath them, yet they approached it with the same meticulous precision that had brought them victory time and again. Upon arriving on Earth, the Predators descended into the wilderness with an air of disdain. The lush green forests, the vast savannas, and the dense jungles were teeming with life, yet none of it seemed worthy of their attention. They moved through the landscape like shadows, their presence a whisper in the wind. With each creature they encountered, their disdain grew. Lions, tigers, and bears, predators that ruled the animal kingdom, were captured effortlessly, their struggles barely registering as more than minor inconveniences. The Zenith Predators mocked these animals, belittling their size and strength. To them, this was not a hunt but a game, a mockery of the challenges they were used to. But as they continued, their confidence only grew, and with it, their arrogance. They boasted about their conquests, sharing stories of how they had brought down beasts that dwarfed entire cities. Earth's creatures, in comparison, were nothing. They were small, weak, and insignificant, certainly not worth the effort. The hunters moved deeper into the wilderness, seeking to complete their task as quickly as possible. It was then that they encountered a creature unlike any they had faced so far, a honey badger. At first glance, it seemed laughable. A small, furry animal, barely the size of their boots, with no visible weaponry or threat. The predators exchanged amused glances, their mocking laughter filling the air. This, they thought, would be the easiest capture yet. They approached the honey badger with the same overconfidence that had marked their entire mission, expecting it to cower or flee. But the honey badger did neither. In an instant, the small creature turned and faced them, its eyes burning with a fierce, unyielding resolve. The predators hesitated, taken aback by the sheer audacity of this tiny animal. Then, with a speed and ferocity that belied its size, the honey badger attacked. It was a blur of motion, teeth and claws ripping through the air with a relentless fury. The hunters, who had faced the deadliest creatures in the galaxy, found themselves caught off guard. The honey badger fought with a tenacity they had never encountered before. It ignored their weapons, shrugged off their blows, and continued to fight with an almost supernatural resilience. The predators, who had mocked Earth's creatures for their small size, suddenly realized they were facing something far more dangerous than they had anticipated. This was no ordinary animal. This was a force of nature, a living embodiment of Earth's wild, untamed spirit. As the honey badger continued its relentless assault, the predators began to feel a creeping sense of dread. Their laughter faded, replaced by the grim realization that they had underestimated their opponent. For the first time, the hunters found themselves on the defensive, their confidence shattered by the sheer ferocity of this small, seemingly insignificant creature. The stage was set for a battle that would challenge everything they thought they knew about dominance, strength, and survival. As the zenith predators continued their hunt, the forest around them was eerily quiet, save for the soft rustling of leaves underfoot. They moved with the confidence of seasoned hunters, their senses attuned to the slightest movement. But there was nothing here that seemed worthy of their attention. Their scanners had picked up a life form, small and unremarkable, moving through the underbrush. Curious, they followed the signal, expecting nothing more than another insignificant creature. When they finally laid eyes on the source, it was almost laughable, a small, squat animal with a shaggy coat and a defiant stance. The honey badger was an unimpressive sight compared to the towering beasts they were accustomed to. The hunters exchanged looks of disbelief, some chuckling at the absurdity of it. Was this truly the best Earth had to offer? The idea that this creature could pose any threat seemed ridiculous. One of the hunters, with a smirk, suggested they take it as a trophy, not for its challenge, but as a joke to highlight the weakness of Earth's wildlife. The others agreed, amused by the thought. It was just a small diversion, an opportunity to mock the so-called dangerous animals of this planet. They approached the honey badger with a relaxed demeanor, fully expecting it to flee or submit. But the creature did neither. The honey badger stared back at them, unflinching, its small black eyes gleaming with a ferocity that caught the hunters off guard. There was something unsettling in its gaze, something that made the predators hesitate for the briefest moment. And then, in a blur of motion, the honey badger struck. What happened next was a whirlwind of unexpected violence. The honey badger launched itself at the nearest hunter with a speed and aggression that belied its size. Its claws tore through the hunter's armor, its jaws clamping down with a force that sent a shock through the entire group. The laughter died in their throats as they scrambled to respond. This was no joke. This was an attack, as fierce and determined as any they had faced. The hunters, trained to react quickly in the face of danger, tried to subdue the honey badger, but nothing worked. The creature fought with a relentless fury, shrugging off blows that would have felled much larger beasts. It bit and clawed, its small body moving with a terrifying agility. The predators, who had mocked Earth's creatures, were now struggling to defend themselves against this tiny whirlwind of destruction. The honey badger's resilience was astounding. It seemed impervious to pain, its attacks growing more frenzied with every strike. The hunters, who had underestimated it so completely, found themselves on the back foot, their confidence shaken. Every attempt to capture or kill the creature was met with a renewed onslaught, as if the honey badger drew strength from their fear and frustration. As the battle wore on, the predators began to realize that they were in over their heads. This wasn't just an animal. It was something more, something primal and fierce that they had never encountered before. The honey badger wasn't just defending itself, it was attacking with a purpose, as if driven by a force beyond mere survival. The hunters, who had always considered themselves invincible, were now struggling to keep up. The cracks in their overconfidence began to show. The honey badger's relentless assault was wearing them down, both physically and mentally. Their advanced weapons and armor, designed to withstand the deadliest creatures in the galaxy, seemed almost useless against this small, ferocious beast. Each failed attempt to subdue it only deepened their sense of unease. For the first time, the zenith predators were beginning to doubt their own superiority. The honey badger's power was undeniable. It wasn't just its physical strength or resilience, it was the sheer will to fight, to survive against impossible odds. The hunters had come to Earth expecting an easy conquest, but they were now facing something far more dangerous. The honey badger had exposed their arrogance, showing them that true power doesn't always come in the form they expect. The battle was far from over, but the zenith predators were already beginning to realize that they were no longer the hunters. They were the hunted. The battle with the honey badger was supposed to be a brief, almost amusing distraction for the zenith predators, but it had turned into a relentless nightmare. Each strike from the creature carried with it a force that seemed to grow stronger, more unyielding, as if the very ground beneath its feet was fueling its rage. The hunters, masters of the galaxy's deadliest creatures, found themselves pushed to the brink by this small, defiant animal. But as the fight dragged on, something far more terrifying began to emerge. The honey badger's eyes, once just dark and fierce, now gleamed with an intensity that was almost otherworldly. It moved with a speed and precision that defied logic, its small body becoming a blur of motion, powered by a strength that far exceeded its natural limits. The hunters, exhausted and bloodied, realized with dawning horror that this was no ordinary beast. This was something ancient, something connected to the very heart of the planet. Earth's primal forces, long dormant, were awakening within this creature, transforming it into a vessel of nature's unbridled power. Every slash of its claws, every bite, carried the weight of Earth's untamed spirit, a force that had been silently watching and waiting for an intruder foolish enough to challenge it. The honey badger was no longer just an animal. It was the embodiment of the planet's wild essence, a guardian born from the depths of Earth's primal soul. The zenith predators, for all their advanced technology and battle-hardened experience, were now facing something far beyond their comprehension. This was not a hunt. This was a battle for survival against a force they could neither understand nor control. But the honey badger was just the beginning. As its primal power grew, a ripple effect began to spread across the globe. In the jungles of South America, jaguars stirred, their golden eyes burning with a newfound ferocity. In the savannas of Africa, lions roared with a power that shook the earth, their pride moving as one, driven by an instinct that had lain dormant for millennia. In the forests of North America, wolves howled, their calls echoing through the night as they gathered in packs, their movements synchronized, as if controlled by a single mind. Across the planet, animals of all shapes and sizes began to act in ways that defied explanation. Predators and prey moved together, united by the same primal force that had awakened within the honey badger. The zenith predators, who had once dismissed Earth's creatures as insignificant, now found themselves in the midst of a global uprising. This was no ordinary rebellion. This was nature itself rising against the invaders, a coordinated assault driven by the ancient power of the earth. The hunters, once so confident in their superiority, now found themselves overwhelmed. Their advanced weapons and armor, designed to subdue the fiercest creatures in the galaxy, were rendered useless against the sheer ferocity and determination of Earth's wildlife. The animals fought with a singular purpose, their movements precise and deadly, as if guided by an unseen hand. The zenith predators, who had once prided themselves on their ability to conquer any challenge, now faced the terrifying reality that they were outmatched. Panic began to set in. The hunters, once a unified force, began to splinter, their arrogance giving way to fear. They had underestimated the power hidden within Earth's smallest creatures, and now they were paying the price. The primal force that had awakened within the honey badger had spread like wildfire, igniting a fury in the hearts of animals across the globe. The hunters, who had once viewed themselves as the apex predators, now found themselves hunted, their every move countered by the relentless forces of nature. As the realization of their predicament sank in, the zenith predators knew they were facing an enemy unlike any they had encountered before. This was not a battle they could win with brute strength or advanced technology. This was a fight for survival against the very planet itself, a battle they had never anticipated and were woefully unprepared for. The primal forces of Earth had awakened, and they were unstoppable. The zenith predators, once the hunters, were now the prey, trapped in a fight they could not escape. Their mission had turned into a desperate struggle to stay alive, and for the first time in their storied careers, they felt the cold grip of fear closing in around them. The zenith predators, battered and disoriented, found themselves retreating for the first time in their storied history. What was supposed to be a simple hunt had turned into a nightmare, forcing them to regroup and reassess. As they retreated deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon something ancient, something that had been hidden away for millennia. Among the dense foliage and twisted roots, they discovered remnants of a civilization long forgotten, one that predated humanity itself. This ancient civilization had left behind cryptic symbols and vast underground chambers, all meticulously crafted and preserved by time. The hunters, driven by desperation and a growing sense of dread, began to piece together the story that these ruins told. It became clear that Earth had once been home to a race far more advanced than humanity. A race that understood the dangers of the cosmos and had taken drastic measures to protect their world. The evidence pointed to a shocking revelation. This ancient civilization had engineered Earth's entire ecosystem as a living defense mechanism. The animals of Earth were not just products of evolution, they had been deliberately designed to protect the planet from invaders. Each species played a role in this intricate web of defense, with the honey badger revealed as one of the most crucial components. This small, unassuming creature was the embodiment of Earth's primal fury, a force engineered to unleash the full wrath of the planet against any who dared threaten it. The hunters, who had once viewed themselves as the pinnacle of evolution, were now faced with the unsettling truth that they were up against something far beyond their understanding. The honey badger, which they had mocked and underestimated, was not just a wild animal. It was a guardian, a creature imbued with the essence of the planet's untamed spirit. The realization hit them with the force of a sledgehammer. They were not the hunters in this scenario. They were the prey, caught in a trap set eons ago by a civilization that had foreseen their arrival. The honey badger's relentless attack now made sense. It wasn't just fighting for its life. It was fulfilling its role as Earth's protector. The hunters, for all their advanced technology and battle-hardened experience, were ill-equipped to deal with this revelation. They had come to Earth expecting an easy conquest, but they had walked into a planet-wide defense system, one that was now fully activated against them. As the truth of their situation became clear, the Zenith Predator's mission shifted drastically. The arrogance and overconfidence that had defined them were stripped away, replaced by a singular focus: survival. The mission was no longer about capturing specimens for the Galactic Council's collection. It was about getting off this planet alive. The hunters, once the undisputed apex predators of the galaxy, were now desperately trying to escape a world where every creature, every sound, every shadow could be their undoing. The honey badger, once seen as a minor inconvenience, had become the symbol of their downfall. It had exposed the folly of their arrogance, and forced them to confront the reality that they were not invincible. Earth, with all its wild and untamed beauty, was not a backwater planet ripe for exploitation. It was a fortress, built to defend against the most fearsome threats in the universe, with its animals as the frontline warriors in a battle that had been raging long before humanity ever existed. The Zenith Predators, for all their power and skill, were now on the run. Their advanced technology, once their greatest asset, seemed almost laughable in the face of Earth's ancient defenses. They had been outmaneuvered, outsmarted, and overpowered by creatures they had deemed insignificant. The honey badger, with its fierce determination and primal strength, had shown them the true meaning of power. Now, as they fought to survive, the hunters could feel the weight of the ancient civilization's gaze upon them, a silent reminder of the planet's enduring will to protect itself. The Zenith Predators, who had once believed they could conquer anything, were now nothing more than intruders in a world that did not belong to them. Their mission had failed, and their only hope was to escape before the planet's guardians finished what they had started. In the end, the hunters were left with a profound sense of loss and humility. They had come to Earth seeking trophies, but they were leaving with a lesson that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Earth was not just another planet in the galaxy. It was a living, breathing entity, protected by forces that even the mightiest hunters could not overcome. And as they fled, the echo of the honey badger's roar, fueled by the power of a planet long defended, reverberated in their minds, a reminder that they had underestimated the true strength of Earth's smallest creatures. The Zenith Predators, once the mightiest hunters in the galaxy, now stood battered and broken, their armor scarred and their spirits crushed. The forest around them, once a place of tranquil beauty, had become a living nightmare, teeming with creatures driven by a primal force beyond their understanding. The honey badger, that small and seemingly insignificant creature, was at the forefront of this relentless assault, leading Earth's animals with a ferocity that defied reason. Surrounded and outnumbered, the predators had no choice but to make their final stand. They rallied together, using every last bit of their advanced technology and combat experience to hold off the onslaught. But the animals, empowered by the same primal energy that had transformed the honey badger into an unstoppable force, closed in with unyielding determination. Lions, wolves, eagles, and even smaller creatures like badgers and snakes attacked with a coordinated fury that the hunters could not comprehend. Everywhere the zenith predators turned, they were met with the fierce eyes of Earth's defenders, creatures that had once been dismissed as mere trophies. Now they were fighting with a purpose, driven by an ancient instinct to protect their world from invaders. The hunters, once so confident in their superiority, were overwhelmed by the sheer might and unity of Earth's wildlife. Their weapons, so effective against the monstrous beasts of other worlds, seemed almost useless here. The animals fought with a primal power that no technology could counter, a force that was as much a part of the planet as the ground beneath their feet. As the battle reached its peak, the predators realized that they could not win. The honey badger, at the heart of the assault, seemed to embody the very spirit of the earth itself, a relentless force that would not be stopped. It led the charge with an indomitable will, inspiring the other animals to press the attack until the hunters were forced to retreat. The zenith predators, who had never known defeat, were now fighting for their lives, driven back by the overwhelming power of Earth's smallest and fiercest creatures. In the end, there was no choice but to flee. The predators activated their emergency transports, abandoning the planet that had humbled them so completely. As they left Earth's atmosphere, the reality of their failure settled heavily on their shoulders. They had come to Earth seeking glory and trophies, but they had found something far more powerful, a planet that would not be conquered, defended by creatures they had foolishly underestimated. Upon their return to their homeworld, the surviving predators were met with disbelief and shock. Their once proud ranks were decimated, their armor bearing the scars of a battle they had never anticipated. The hunters, who had faced the deadliest beasts in the galaxy, were now shadows of their former selves, haunted by the memory of the honey badger and the primal force it had unleashed. They reported back to the Galactic Empire, their voices trembling with the weight of their experience. Earth, they warned, was not a planet to be taken lightly. Its ecosystem, far from being a collection of insignificant creatures, was a highly advanced defense network designed to protect the planet from any invader. The honey badger, and the other animals of Earth, were not just wildlife, they were guardians, empowered by the planet's ancient spirit to defend their home at all costs. The Galactic Empire, stunned by the hunter's report, quickly labeled Earth as a high-risk zone, advising against any further attempts to invade or exploit its resources. The planet, once considered a minor target, was now recognized as one of the most dangerous in the galaxy, not because of its technology or military power, but because of the indomitable spirit of its wildlife. In the annals of galactic history, the story of the zenith predator's defeat on Earth became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of arrogance and the folly of underestimating the seemingly insignificant. The honey badger, that small and fearless creature, became a symbol of Earth's resilience, a testament to the power of nature when it is pushed to defend itself. Earth was no longer just another planet in the galaxy. It was a world with secrets that even the mightiest hunters could not conquer. The legacy of the honey badger, and the lesson it taught, would endure for generations, a story of how the smallest creatures could hold the greatest power, and how the true strength of a planet lies not in its technology or weapons, but in the connection to its ancient, untamed spirit.